Ooh, it's such a beautiful day here in Mauritius, Africa. I rarely do videos in the front of the house, but as you can tell by the title, we need to talk about this Africa travel ban. If you remember a few weeks ago, President Donald Trump said there was going to be a travel ban on 44 African countries. There were countries like Sierra Leone, potentially Burkina Faso, potentially Liberia, South Sudan, which isn't too surprising. I believe Eritrea was on the list, as well as a plethora of other African countries, nearly half the continent. And today I want to talk to you about what this means for Africa, because you should also know that I received a message. I'm connected with a lot of lawyers in the States, okay? A lot of African lawyers, different attorneys, different CPAs, different people in finance and higher institutions and banking and things like this. And one of the attorneys, they made an Instagram post. It was really interesting. You want to stay to the end because I'm trying to figure out this. And I was also talking to a client in Dream Life Africa who has become a friend of mine. She's come out and visit, and she's told me about these issues and these processes. But I saw the actual letter when this attorney posted it on social media. And it was warning an African whose parents were immigrants, but this person was born in the US. This letter was warning them and essentially saying that you have 7 days to self-deport. Yes, you heard that right. This letter said 7 days to self-deport. So they proceed to tell this, I don't know where in West Africa they were from, but they were American born, so they're actually US citizens. They have a US passport. They proceed to tell them they send this letter in the mail. I read the letter, y'all. I read the letter, okay? And I was like, oh, that's wild. That's crazy. They said self-deport in 7 days. And so I thought to myself, I'm like, okay, so what if this person had purchased property? Like, what if they had different investments in the States? Are you saying they have to self-deport in 7 days? Are they supposed to sell their house in 7 days? Are you guys saying that now the government's gonna own the house after 7 days because they're immigrants that they don't want there, even though they're actual US citizens with an actual US passport? And so this acquaintance on my Instagram and my network, they're basically in public saying how they're gonna fight for them and they're not gonna back down on all of these things. Now, keep this in mind with the travel ban that we just talked about a few weeks ago, and how potentially African Americans who want a double passport in countries like Sierra Leone, possibly Burkina Faso and Benin, or some of the newest ones, Ghana, some of these countries where they allow you to have dual citizenship, automatically puts you on a target practice map, essentially, where they can randomly say, well, you know what, since you're a dual citizen of 2 different places, we don't want you here and we want to self-deport you, or we want you to self-deport yourself. And you know, at the end of the letter, it said something crazy that was like threatening. It was like, do not hide from us, we will find you, sincerely, the US government. And I'm just looking at the letter like, that's intense. And so my friend had been telling me about this on our WhatsApp chat, and I'd never seen the letter though. So I was like, yeah, I keep hearing about it, but it's different from hearing about it and then somebody actually sharing the letter on social media and seeing it. So leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think this means. But what I'm gonna say about the future of Africa in the midst of these different travel bans is that it's going to create an opportunity for those of us that are on the continent in tourism, in real estate, in e-commerce, in finance, and marketing, and business development. It creates a lot of opportunity for us, whether you're a dual citizen or not. In Africa, you don't need to be a dual citizen, especially if you choose the right country. Some of the best countries that you can get long-term residence in are Mauritius, Seychelles, Namibia, Botswana, Rwanda is another great one, Kenya, excellent, potentially South Africa, depending on how you feel about some of the crime that goes on there, okay? But these are some of the best countries that you can diversify in. And so what's going to happen, just like this trade war that's going on right now with China, is that it's going to cause a blessing to come upon the African continent, whereas the Western world is seeing it as this is going to be a way for us to stop them, a way for us to make their life harder, and it's not going to turn out like that. Let me break it down. So what we're going to see is going to be a type of African Renaissance again, when you can get in tourism, when you can already have your online business based in the States. You want to start up your network before you leave. We did that exponentially way back in 2015. We started to acquire the right network. We were very intentional about investing in and building our businesses before leaving the States, because we knew we did not want to travel back and forth, okay? That's why y'all don't see us back and forth. Like, our plan was very much fail proof. It was very much intentional. And on YouTube, social media, it seems like, oh, they just popped up, it's fleeting, but this was actually a super intentional plan. And you can do the same thing. Like, this travel ban, these weird things that are happening right now in the West are going to backfire on the West. They're only going to hurt the West, just like China said yesterday, or at least I did the video yesterday. But some people in China were saying, look, we've been here for 5,000 years. I hate to break it to many people in the West that may not be aware, but civilizations like Egypt is one of the oldest civilizations on earth. Ethiopia, Nubia, the Swahili coast, the great Zimbabwe Empire, the Songhai Empire in West Africa, the ancient Mali Empire. These civilizations were fine before America existed in 1776. They were doing more than fine. They were abundant. They were trading gold and resources and wealth. Timbuktu had some of the greatest libraries that ever existed to date, where most of these civilizations actually got their information from, as it relates to science, astronomy, all these different things, mathematics. I'm pretty sure psychology and business as well. And so the thing about it is, like, if you're looking at everything happening right now and you're like, what is this going to be for Africa? This travel ban and these weird things are going to force African peoples to work together, not just with themselves, but they're going to be working with the Chinese. We're going to be working with the Indians. We're going to be working with different demographics. They're going to be working with different Arab populations. They're going to be working together and trading together on their terms, on requirements that make sense, not on requirements that mimic like the Arabic slave trade and these type of things, but requirements that make sense for both parties. This is what is being forced to happen at the arms of the West right now. And so I'm so excited for this. Some of you guys in South Africa, a lot of you guys from South Africa watch this channel now. You guys from Kenya as well. Shout out to my Kenyan, Luya people. Well, all the people in Kenya. Asante, y'all are so welcoming. And we haven't even touched down in Kenya permanently yet, or at least for an extended period of time. But shout out to Kenya. I love my people. Habari, Zasabui, Salama, okay? I love Kenyans. They're my people, okay? And I'm going to visit one day, and I'm gonna stay for a while. I'm gonna go on vacation, and it's gonna work out. But I gotta get some more things situated on this side of the continent, okay? On this island. But a lot of these things are going to force Africans to start being more resourceful, even though when you travel Africa, I'll tell you the honest truth. Again, a lot of Westerners don't believe this, but unless you've traveled Africa for the past 5 years and not just visiting, going back and forth, you don't really have proximity to even know what I'm talking about, especially if you have not traveled, i.e. Tanzania, traveled Mauritius, traveled Zambia, traveled Kenya. If you haven't been to these places, then you don't know. You just have no idea, okay? And these places in particular that are throughout the Swahili coast. I remember we took our children, because we world school, right? We took our children to some ancient ruins of the Swahili coast, and it was just so interesting seeing all the trade that would happen there. In a sense, what we're gonna see in a sense is a new African Renaissance, and I'm excited for it. I'm here for it. The African peoples are here for it. We have the skills, the talent, the human capital, and yes, sometimes it takes longer to help the talent to, how can I put it? When you hire people, it's important for you as a CEO to be accountable, or as a HR manager to be accountable for the outcomes. Okay, so that means structuring the right programs, the right training materials, and that can be capital heavy if you're not a writer, if you're not someone that develops curriculum and things like that. So that can be a bit of a barrier. But besides that, in the age of the internet, when we live on such a beautiful continent, y'all, like, our people, African people, can literally start their channel, start their brand, film their content about their country, about their village, about their city, about wherever it is they live, and they end up doing good. They do very well. Why? Because they're showing the beauty of their continent and their country and their village from Africa to Americans, targeting people in Canada, targeting people in the West who really want to have access to this beauty, to this freedom, to this lifestyle, but otherwise wouldn't have access. And so I'm so excited to see what the next 2 to 5 years look like, I'm gonna be honest with you, there are opportunities that we are experiencing right now that did not exist back in 2021 and did not exist in 2020 when we landed in Africa. And this is why it's so important to get in community, to get in networking groups, to get in programs, courses with people who are investing on the continent, not just in one area. We have investments in multiple countries in Africa. At this rate, we are serial entrepreneurs. We have built multiple successful businesses and scaled over 230 different businesses, mostly based in the US, but also doing keynote speeches in Israel, right? And we didn't have to hop on a plane to do it. Paid keynote speeches to talk about business development and marketing for Black entrepreneurs. This is real life. And so I can't wait to see the growth that the continent goes through. I'm excited to see how this plays out from a scriptural perspective as well, because we cannot forget that this is really all based on prophecy. The fact that the West is going to fall. These are nations that colonize the heck out of the world. Let's be honest. These are nations that colonize the world to such a, oh gosh. When I learned about the history here, it was just surreal, because I didn't realize it coming here, how much colonization and slavery played a role for both the Mauritian, the Indo-Mauritians, and the African Creole Mauritians, who were brought here in slavery and indentured servitude to serve the British crown. And it was just like, gosh, this colonization went throughout the four corners. And it's literally, as Isaiah 11 says, that his people would be brought forth from the islands of the sea. Guess what? I'm in an island that's in the sea that has a people all over the island that has been scattered, because historically this island was run by dodo birds and it was just jungle area. And some people say, I don't believe that. And the thing is, well, I mean, you've never been here. And so you don't really have any context. Your opinion, whether you like truth or not, the truth is going to stand and there's going to be evidence. I mean, you can just feel it on this island, the newness of the area, the fact that humans haven't been here for that long. You look at all the exotic wildlife and it almost feels like you're in a magical paradise. Like, it's the coolest thing. It's like, how am I here? You see birds that you've never seen before, okay? And it's just like, wow, it's the coolest thing. And I want everybody to experience Africa. I think everybody should. Is everybody ready? Heck no. Obviously not. But man, this island in particular should be on your bucket list. And more than that, looking to diversify and not being afraid. Realize that there are African countries that are visa-free for Americans. I'm living in one. There are African countries that give you multiple year renewable entry permits that are free. I'm living in one. There are African countries that do digital nomad visas. I know about 5 of them. Okay. I did a podcast a few years ago with the co-founder and co-director of Plumia, which is a digital nomad corporation, okay? This digital nomad corporation helps people like you and I who are interested in traveling while running our businesses and living our best life with our families to become digital nomads through health insurance like Safety Wing. That's one of the companies they own. And so we did a phenomenal podcast. Maybe I'll link it in the description. Leave a comment and write podcast if you want me to put it in the description and send it to you. But it was just like, everything is so intentional, I'll tell you that. Things are looking so good for the Southern Hemisphere that it's just so beautiful. Like, I don't know how to capture it into the right language, and it's amazing. So these travel bans that they're trying to put into Africa and saying, oh, well, this is gonna cripple Africa, this is gonna cripple China, it's gonna cripple whoever, and da-da-da-da-da, blah, 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 blah. Not to even mention the president of Burkina Faso, Captain Ibrahim Traore. Y'all know he's taking care of business, okay? We are going through an African renaissance. We are going through a Black renaissance. We are going through an indigenous renaissance. We're going through a renaissance of people that are melanated on the earth, that have been oppressed for far too long, but now have the ability to go ahead. Yeah, you can go ahead and not have any issues. You can go ahead, and there are, again, we say this time and time again, you're going to want to check out the Mauritius Africa playlist. You're going to want to subscribe to members only and unlock those 71 videos that are readily at your fingertips, literally waiting for you. You do have to be on a desktop or a laptop, but we literally show our members, our 80 or so members, the investment properties that are out here, the investment opportunities that are out here, y'all. I even know about a research and development proposal opportunity where you can get a 10-year self-employed entrepreneur visa out here. Yes, you heard that right, 10 years. You heard that right, 10 years for free. If you are an online business owner, if you are a consultant that drives revenue for companies, that hires HR teams, that does trainings, that publishes books, that does anything in the realm of technology and education, it's too easy. I'll be honest, it's way too easy. That's why our life looks so easy, because to a degree it is. If you are in those highly skilled professions of education and technology, if you are certified in certain platforms like Go High Level, Klaviyo, HubSpot, I know I have 3 HubSpot certifications. If you have experience doing data analysis, if you have experience doing business development, even customer service, there's so much opportunity out here for you, even for retirement age people. That's what I say, guys. We are witnessing the African Renaissance. The African Renaissance. If you remember the days of the Black Ages, what they would tell us in school, you know, Europe, they were struggling in the Black Ages. But guess who wasn't? Africa was not struggling. Africa was thriving. Africa was doing exceedingly well. Trading on the Swahili coast. Trade going in Great Zimbabwe. Trade going in the Songhai and Mali empires of West Africa. And so we are in such an abundant, fruitful state of the world. Every time a recession or famine or anything like that happens, you have the opportunity to come out on top. How do I know? We've done it before in 2020. Our business exploded in the middle of a pandemic. Why? Because the pandemic forced people to be online. And guess what? We're online entrepreneurs. So now people have a bigger need and a larger demand for our services. The same thing is happening again. And it's like, hey, get in position. Look at these residence options that are out here. Get in the right rooms, period. Get in the right rooms, because it's fruitful. It's abundant. And these travel bans, these Africa travel bans from the States, the way they're doing the trade wars, it's going to turn out for Africa and Asia's favor. We already have Africa free trade agreements. China and Africa already work hand in hand. And by the way, Africa doesn't even accept stuff from the US anymore. They mainly only accept stuff from China. Like when we go shopping, I think there's one thing in the store that's from Canada, and it's maple syrup. And it's just because, when we buy stuff out here, we buy African products or Indian products, then third Chinese products. Mainly it's South Africa and India that provide different products out here, okay? And so that's some context I want to give you, because CNN isn't going to tell you that Africa isn't that dependent on the West. They want you to be foolish still and ignorant and still thinking ignorance is bliss. Oh, everybody depends on America, right? But when you look at the statistics and actually look online and do just like 20 minutes of research, it doesn't take that long, you start to realize, so what are they dependent on you for again? Since you say everybody's so dependent, you come to find out it's a lie. Like, Americans have been lied to. But that just about wraps up this video, guys. If you like what I'm talking about as it relates to online business, check out the Black Educators Amplified playlist, okay? It's a phenomenal playlist. We have blogs and a previous video. Binge our content, I'll just put it like that. We put out a lot of resourceful content so that you can live your best life, so you can live your dream life, so you can live in a villa in Mauritius, Africa if you want, or Seychelles, or Cape Verde. We had a sister reach out to us. She's like, hey, the US is getting crazy. A Nigerian sister. The US is getting crazy. I think I'm gonna go to Cape Verde. They have a digital nomad visa as well. You know, you're free. There's opportunities out there. You just have to get yourself around the right people that know those opportunities, because obviously most people don't know about them, just due to marketing reasons. Like a lot of these, I don't want to say third world, but upcoming countries aren't as loud with propaganda and marketing the way that the US is, okay? And so if you're not in the right networks and the right groups, you won't have access to that. So you should subscribe, you should like this video, you should save it. We would love it if you share it. If you found just one piece of helpful information, pass it forward, share it with somebody else, share it in some Facebook groups, share it on your Instagram, wherever you want to share it, wherever you be at, you can share it. And we'll see you in the next video. Shalom, shalom.